Ken wrote here why he thinks a deal could get done between the Padres and Manny Machado on a long-term deal. So, number one, Steve Cohen. The Padres, they don't want to deal with that in free agency. So, yeah, I agree with that. Steve Cohen, he has a lot of money, and they missed out on Carlos Correa. Well, they didn't miss out. They decided to not sign him, right? They didn't sign him to that $315 million deal. So they have a lot of money to spend, and they're probably going to want Ohtani a lot. But if Ohtani goes to the Dodgers or to another team, then Manny's going to be that guy, right? So if he gets to free agency, Steve Cohen is a reason why the Padres don't want it to get to free agency, right? They want that extension to be done. Reason number two that Ken gave, Juan Soto. Padres expected to explore an extension for Soto as well this spring, but good luck with that, he says. Soto turned down a 15-year, $440 million offer from the Nationals, prompting his trade to San Diego. He is 2 seasons away from hitting the market at 26. Scott Boras generally shuns extensions, preferring his clients to establish their values in free agency. Machado represents a buffer against the potential loss of Soto. So he's saying here, if they get Manny, well, even if they don't bring Soto back on a long-term deal, well, they have a core of Bogarts, Manny, and Tatis for a long time. That guarantee, at least you would think it would guarantee that they're going to be in contention, at least in some sort of way, right? Some sort of level of contention for a long time. And I think that's definitely a reason I would want this Manny extension to be done. I have many reasons I want a Manny extension to be done. But yeah, losing Juan Soto, if you lose Soto and Manny, then it's Tatis and Bogarts. And yeah, Preller would make more moves to bring in other players, but I'd rather have Manny on this team and have Manny, Bogarts, Tatis long-term, and with the possibility of extending Soto, than not have Manny on this team, and you feel a lot of pressure to bring Soto back, so you still have, like a big three. They have a big four right now with those 4-star guys. I like including Crony in there, but from the national perspective, it's a big four. You want it to at least be a big three when Soto is a free agent, right? Reason number 3, Ken says, Peter Seidler. Peter loves Manny, Padres owner loves his players, is what Ken says. Machado perhaps more than any other. He repeatedly has demonstrated a willingness to pay top-of-the-market prices for elite talent. Why would he stop now, drawing a line with the centerpiece of his franchise? Totally agree. He gave the money to Joe Musgrove. He gave that big extension to Tatis. I know that was before the accidents, the PEDs, all that. He did just give $280 million to Xander Bogaerts. So if he's willing to give that much to Xander Bogaerts, who hasn't played a game with the team, you'd think he'd be willing to give at least that, probably more than that, to a guy that he loves, right? A guy that's been the face of the franchise, the guy that's the captain of the team, right? Reason number 4, Ken says here, Dan Lozano, Manny's agent. And he talks about Manny's agent, Dan Lozano, maybe not wanting to take that risk. Maybe there's an injury, a significant injury. What if Manny has an off year? What if teams are less eager to commit long-term to him now that he's on the other side of 30? It wasn't a problem for Judge, as Ken says here, but maybe some teams just don't want to pay Manny on the other side of 30. I would, but that's me sitting here as a Padres fan. So he's saying that Dan Lozano maybe will say, hey, let's not take this huge risk of going to free agency, or let's not take this risk of playing out 2023 and an injury might happen. Let's take $300 million here. I'm not saying that that's the number that it would be. I think that's a good offer, a solid starting point for the Padres with Manny. Like, yes, we're serious about an extension. Here's another 10 years, $300 million. We'll rip up 5 years on the back end of this contract, 5 for $150, the back of that. Rip that up, give you double that, and there you go. We're serious about bringing you back. So maybe Dan wants Manny to go that route. You like it here, and that brings it to reason number 5, Ken's 5th reason, Manny Machado. All accounts, Manny and his family are comfortable in San Diego. They built a house in the area, the weather, the fan support, consistent contention. Peter Seidler, AJ Preller's desire to win. They're continuing to build this roster, make this roster stronger ever since Manny got here. So why wouldn't you want to be here, right? The Padres are willing to give you money if that's it seems like they will be willing to give Manny the money. So and he's comfortable here. He loves it here. I mean, he is a god in this city. Why would he want to go somewhere else, right? So those are some of the reasons that Ken Rosenthal says here. In The Athletic, he says, I'm guessing he stays as long as the Padres pay, and when in the last few years have they not? Yep, I agree. They paid Xander Bogaerts. They paid Fernando Tatis Jr. They made sure Joe Musgrove didn't make it to free agency. And by the way, that ended up being a bargain. 5 years, $100 million based on some of the numbers that starting pitchers got in the free agent market this past winter or this offseason. That's a bargain. And maybe the Padres, if Manny agrees to like $300 million, maybe that will be a bargain because Ohtani will be a free agent and he'll get a lot more than that. Soto might go to free agency and get a lot more than that. And we would be sitting here if Manny got an extension and be like, okay, thank the Lord that we got this deal, that Peter got this deal done, because if he didn't, Manny would have got the offer from Steve Cohen. Definitely. He would have gotten offers from other teams that might be an overpay, but that might make Manny really consider it, right? I think an extension is going to get done. I've said that numerous times, but that was an article that I just wanted to hit on real quick.